That is a critical and unexcusable failure of our government at every level.
So even if you just put them up and then put the bag on each one of them?
If I could dream of an ideal future, I would dream of some place where everyone truly has a voice and everyone truly has an impact, no matter their situation, economic, geographic. People have communities or are in communities that are often silenced or underrepresented or not seeked out for opinion. And I think I would like to see a future where those communities truly have a voice as loud as any other.
An earth of greenery and magic, of oceans and large landmasses, full of animals and trees. This earth, once vibrant and so alive, now struggles to survive. Struggles to thrive, and now we pay the price because we chose to return Earth's generosity with greed. We must tread lightly on this path that we lead.
I mean, the challenges get mounting and can be overwhelming at times. But when you think about that as a young person, are you hopeful for the future?
There's just way too many challenges in the world currently, so I feel like in the future is at risk.
At times I'm not really that hopeful. Every day it gets a little bit tougher for some reason or the other, and it's always beyond my control. That's what it seems like. So no, not really.
Sometimes you think you're just one person in the grand scheme of things, and sometimes it feels like it's a lot to take on your shoulders and a lot to handle when you think of how large some of these sustainable issues are. But I think what's beautiful nowadays is like I mentioned earlier, the amount of people that want to affect change. So though you may feel like one person, it's more like in the thousands maybe when you're thinking, and even millions when you're thinking about one particular issue. And I think that, you know, when people come together to work on these things, that's when we have the ability to really try to solve some of these big issues that are pressing our current world.
Having kind of a support network for when things do go wrong definitely builds a sense of community, and I think that it actually inspires the people within that community to want to come together and help in the future as well. Yeah, I feel like when people are kind of left to fend for themselves, they don't really feel as much of a sense to bring back to the community and help more, if that makes sense.
Whatever it is that you're passionate about, if we all take care of our children and our pets and our houses and our cars, what about nature? What is it in nature that really makes you feel alive, makes you feel connected? You know, let's get our kids back in the forest. Let's get our kids on the beach. You know, let them, you know, have the experiences that spark a passion for this world and for the nature. And I think if that happens, like with your hummingbird analogy, drop by drop, person by person, passion by passion, we are going to make a huge difference in not only our present, but our future.
The average consumer has no time. We live in like a 6-second world now, where you got 6 seconds to really try to win their mind, and you're lost them pretty much, right? So I think that is the biggest thing right here. We just take a little too long to do too many things.
When I think about the problems that are happening in the society on a community level and on a global level, it definitely stresses people out, but there is definitely a hope that we can see, because when you look at all the troubles or all the issues that we have faced, even in the COVID issue, we knew that it was a global issue, but the world came together at a smaller scale and on a larger scale to solve the issue. We know that there is still humanity left, even though there is this fast-paced world and we think that a single person cannot make much of a difference, but then it is a single effort that every person puts in every day. A single step that you can do, what you can do every day differently, would definitely impact on a global level. And I'm sure we are all not bad people. We definitely help each other, and we do have the humanity inside us to help things out and steer it towards the sustainable development goals.
How do I give those students that capacity and capability so that they can embrace challenges like climate change, like food crisis, like these housing crises, and to really make a positive influence on their communities? So being spurred on by the students is what really enabled me to start this project.
So for Dalhousie, I think that if they're having more discussions with students and staff and giving examples of how we could lead more sustainably, then the students and staff can take that away to their own communities and have better conversations with other people around that, and then learn also how, as a school and a community here, we can function more sustainably.
Yes, I do. I think I can make a difference. And even though I'm not hopeful for the future, I do think that hope can change. I think as many people in our world believe, it is possible for myself as an emerging scholar and as a researcher and someone in this field to start this tumble like a snowball effect. I believe that change happens basically from the smallest cell building into what could be an avalanche of change. So yes, I do think so.
We can learn, I would say we can learn inclusion, we can learn social cohesion, and we can learn sustainable development, for instance.
When will we begin to learn from these mistakes? Take action to enact the necessary change. What would happen if you decided to choose sustainability? Choosing electric instead of gas, choosing to support pure ecosystems instead of contaminating, choosing to thrive rather than just survive.
Why are so many people agreeing and being comfortable of denying what's happening to this very source of life?
That's when the lock and flip the open side.
The students start to understand that they can work with these different frameworks. They can take on these challenges and embrace these challenges. And so what starts to happen is this evolving mindset for these leaders that they can make a difference, that they can, and it creates hope for them for the future, that they can make a difference, that they can get into the rhythm of these challenges.
Yeah, so I'm being directly affected, so it's very worrisome, and I'm still young, so I've got lots of years to live, hopefully, and then I'm also gonna have kids eventually at some point. I'm thinking about that, so you want a better future for yourselves, for your kids, for the next generations coming up.
and it's going to be my responsibility and my colleagues' responsibilities in the next years to solve that as well. So it's, a big task up ahead.
It's absolute.
And this isn't a better place right now. And until we step forward, then it's going to stay this way. So let's figure out a way. And I'm just one person, and I have people that just want to volunteer and help. And if we have that done 100 times over, then we're going to make a difference.
Hopeful is not the first word that springs to mind. Damned angry.
Fossil fuels have got to go!
And determined to support things and do things like the climate march and anything we can, including going to see some of those political leaders and captains of industry and try to tell them to quiffen up and start actually providing climate solutions, actually stop doing the bad things that are driving the climate catastrophe, to stop talking about distant plans they're going to get to and release soon that will put actual action 10 or 20 or more years into the future and well past their political terms, and start delivering them now. We've got to make dramatic change, not fiddle around the edges. And in many ways, they failed us all, and they certainly failed our kids and their future, and that's just wrong.
Yeah, there's a couple of sheets too.
We're a world of engineers, and we've tackled things before. Obviously, I come from that background, so I'll see it through that lens. But I've seen issues fail to be fixed, and I don't know if this can be fixed.
Resist. Keep up the resistance. Grow the resistance. Previous generations have failed you miserably. Keep pushing. Keep going. It is your future. Some of us adults understand that and will be there for you. But keep it up. Don't give up.
Some people lost parts of their house, lost their roofs. Some people couldn't live in their houses anymore because of flooding or wind damage. Just coming together as a community goes a long way, and you don't know what someone else is going through unless you've gone through it yourself.
You're in the wrong. We put you in a crisis, we hurt you, took from you and expected you to be fine. You're starting to see it's not going to be all right. It was never okay. Sustainability is about those youth coming next. In the world that you will leave us, in the world that we will leave them.
With the rate of extraction, she can no longer regenerate herself. With the rate of injections of toxins, she can't no longer cleanse herself.
I think like having more of a tight-knit community would be great, and I think that would benefit everybody. That's also hard because there's also 30,000 plus students who go to this school, and it's like obviously you're not going to meet everybody and know everybody, but like you want to make people feel like they're at home and make them feel comfortable and make them want to go to this school and want to stay here and want to be here.
I feel if we could look back in history, there's always been some kind of tragedy or something major that's been going on that's at the time it felt like the end of the world, but as humans we overcome these things. So I feel like as the challenge comes up, we're gonna find a way to go through it and come out on top.
But really focus on where do we want to go? What do those desired futures look like? So we could call them flourishing futures or thriving futures. And again, we often get caught up in the turbulence of the world, and I think that we need to really reimagine how we're going to live and play on the planet for a long time to come.
Because when we look at it demographically, the young people in the mainstream are the minority. And when you switch from the mainstream to the Aboriginal side, it's just the opposite. We are the minority. Give you an example what the ratio is. I come from a community of 5,000. There's only less than 65 of us that are over 65 years of age. 80% of our population is young. And that young population has not had the opportunity to hear the stories from the elders. But they are more than willing and anxious and determined that if we're going to be talking about the future, we better do something about the present. Thank you.
To the untrained eye, I got nothing for miles but hot sun. My body is frozen, out of place, out of line. A chisel and ice, chisel and ice. We need the perfect storm to thaw me right. I've been waiting on a second wind to blow right in and knock us down, start again. You've been steady, winding my sail through the dry spell, and now I'm ready for the flood. Our second wind is gonna come. Couldn't keep our hands off each other then. Shut up, put your money where your